looking to take your guitar playing to the next level, well, look no further. Welcome to part 2 of Mastering Guitar Technique, where I will help you unlock the secrets of the dreaded bar chord. In this comprehensive lesson, I will be breaking down the fundamentals of bar chord technique, explaining what makes them difficult, offering 3 important tips to master them, as well as a daily practice routine that hundreds of my students use every day to get better at them. Hello everybody. If you're new to my channel, this is Jeff Davis. I'm a 35-year veteran guitar instructor, having taught thousands of students just like you to improve their quality of life by learning to play guitar. So let's get tuned up, grab your guitar, and let's get going. All right, so bar chords. In my past 35 years of teaching, this has been one of the most stressful things for most students, and that is playing and holding down a bar chord and getting them to work in songs. I basically found out that there's 3 problem areas that we need to tackle in order for students to get good at them. So let's talk about the first one. One thing that students commonly do, which is not good, is they squeeze the neck of the guitar. Now, it took me getting a degree in classical guitar to realize that the arm must be used more with skill than strength. So what does that mean? Well, think about it. In the very beginning, we kind of overdo everything when we learn anything, really. Even on the guitar, we hold a bar chord down and we squeeze and we clamp the neck. We think, well, I must need to get stronger. I must have to have like a plumber's hand to make this work. But really, it's not that at all. What it is more than anything is using it more with skill than strength. So for that, what I suggest is students pull against the neck more than you squeeze. Now, it doesn't mean that we're not squeezing. We are a little bit, but we're pulling. So think about how your arm works. The bicep is much stronger than anything you have in the forearm. As a matter of fact, it's pretty risky squeezing for a long time anyways. You could get carpal tunnel or something like that. So think about when you're playing, as long as your wrist is straight, the thumb is behind wherever your first and second fingers are, and you're holding this chord down, consider pulling. Most students, when I show this in the very beginning, are immediately blown away at how much easier it is to play. We just don't consider that. Think about your right arm kind of counterbalancing, but your left hand, or you're switching if you're a left-handed player, one arm is going to be counterbalancing the other as you pull. So as I'm pulling this way, I'm going to be pulling back this way to kind of counterbalance it. So that's the very first thing I notice the students do. They're squeezing the neck instead of pulling against the neck. The second problem is most students are just giving up too early, or they're just not practicing this enough. It does take time to learn this. So in the very beginning stages, we learn what are called open position chords. We learn G, we learn D, we learn C, and they're called open position chords because most of the notes are open, meaning that they're just strings that we're not pressing anything down on. And we're only using 3 fingers, right? We're used to hearing all these super clear notes. You know, we hear a G chord, every note's clear. A D chord, every note's clear. A minor, C, E minor. We get into a bar chord, our ear just comes to a screeching halt because we go to play a bar chord and here's what we hear at first. And we're like, what? Why isn't this working? Well, remember this one thing I want you to, and this is what I tell all my students, I want you to fake it until you make it. So what I want you to do is think about creating a shape of a bar chord, straight wrist, pulling against the neck a little bit, arching your fingers. Correct hand placement is this, by the way. It's not this, it's not that. We want to play it like this. So if the fingers are placed correctly and I'm teaching a student, I'll say, hey, it looks great. Just be patient with yourself and keep working on it. You're going to fake it till you make it. So you may have a chord progression where you're playing through and you're playing a D chord, and then you're going to play a D minor or B minor and you hear this. You just have to get over it for now, right? As long as your hand is correctly holding these notes and you're pulling against the neck, over time, you will get much, much better at it. You just have to be patient with yourself. Third and final thing that I've noticed that students are not understanding is when you play a bar chord, my example being a B minor bar chord, most students don't realize that you're only responsible for getting 2 notes to sound while you're holding down the bar with the first finger. So take a look at the B minor chord for a second. You can see it up on the screen there. The first finger is responsible for barring across the 2nd fret. True? Right. But we're only responsible for sounding 2 notes. So this bar across the 2nd fret doesn't need to be clamped down with all the pressure because that you think you'd need, because 3, 4, and 2 are already pressing down on the other notes. So the first finger, out of all of these strings, only responsible for 2/3 of the notes, which is a B and an F sharp. All right, you got it? So be aware of what actual notes the bar is responsible for and don't overdo it. All right, so supplied in the description today is a very common practice sheet that I hand out to all of my students. I'm going to be giving to you today to practice your chords. The primary focus of this, a few different things. There's only going to be 4 bar chords you're ever really going to need to use more than any other. It's B minor, F sharp minor, C sharp minor, and G sharp minor. True, there are bar chords way up here, but they're not played as often, and most of them can be accomplished by playing open position chords. In all of my years of playing in worship bands and also playing with other bands, what I found with the acoustic guitar is that most songs are in sharp keys, and the B minor, F sharp, C sharp, and G sharp covers just about every one of them. All right, so in the exercises, you're going to find that there are exercises where you're going to be playing an open position chord to a bar chord, and it's just a repetition of playing each chord 4 times and then playing that set 4 times. Right? You can practice that every single day, and it deals with all of the chords: B minor, F sharp, C sharp, and G sharp minor. So that wraps up for today. Hopefully I helped answer some of the questions you may have about bar chords. It's been a pleasure meeting with you today. Don't forget to take a look at that practice sheet I have supplied in the subscription, and I look forward to seeing you at the next lesson. Have a wonderful day.